Good morning, everyone, and good morning, our viewers out there. My name is Lisa Harbert, and I'm going to be the host for the podcast we're having today. I have a very important guest in our midst, so I would like him to introduce himself to us.
All right. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, Lisa. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Wow.
My name is Emmanuel Adakole Michael, but I'm popularly known as Apostle Ra by a few persons. So I'm a missionary, but also an economic model developer. I'm from Benue State, Nigeria, but a resident in Liberia. And I'm also someone that loves to help young people.
All right, so I realized that as a managing director, we realize that every time currencies are losing value, every day, weekly, monthly. So how does that fit in for a steward?
Okay, so Lisa, thank you for that question. So first of all, you want to identify the traditional models of economic systems that we have.
Okay.
First, the capitalists. Second, the communists. The first being that it's a class segregation where we have the rich, we have the average, and we have the poor. But in contemporary times, the middle class has been scrapped out. So we have two extremes. You are either an elite or you are a very poor person. All right. On the other hand, we have the communist system where the state takes control of everything. You can almost say they are totalitarian in their approach. For example, China. Exactly. So they detect who owns what property within the state, within the government structure, and they decide price, they decide place, they decide the full marketing piece for every community. And this has failed over time because although if you check these models, I believe they came from a good, from a place of a good thought, but has not really achieved its purpose. Reason being that greed stepped in. Because one thing that you find a common between both models is greed. All right, greed as a template. Because somebody who is in a communist system wants to retain power, wants to control and marginalize who has monopoly and who doesn't have monopoly. Whereas on the capitalist end, he or she wants to retain power by making everybody a subordinate. So actually that tires people out, and that puts people in a place whereby they can't survive on their own without the elite or the state.
All right. So, talking about the merchant and theft of time, how do you talk about how does that tally with the merchant and the student?
I'm sure you've heard of the adage that says, "He who pays the piper will pays the tune." And then in the world of economics, we have an adage that says, "He who pays you detects your time." Also, that adage also applies when it comes to ruling a nation and ruling people. Because who pays you decides your time. So you discover that we are living in a community of people who have different abilities, people who have different callings from God, in quote. And when I speak of calling, I'm not reducing it to just being a pastor, prophet, apostle, because I believe Apostle Paul said in 1 Corinthians 12, he said that there are people who are called into politics, people who are called into hospitality, people who are called to ministry of health. So regardless of that, there are people who have these callings, diverse callings, but cannot fulfill them because their time is being stolen from them by these elites to serve them so as to have a means of survival. And so at the stewardship economy, or in the stewardship economy rather, we have a system that ensures that we buy back your time by making sure that your basic needs are our focus. When you have that sorted out, you have your time back to meditate and to become creative with what God has given to you.
Alright, so a lot of people wait for government in Nigeria to say, we're waiting for government to do this and do that. So what has your stewardship economy has to offer, and then what do you think the people can actually do instead of just like you just said, marrying and dying? What else?
The government does not have answers to everything. Because you see, one of the major superpowers, let me put it that way, of the capitalists or the communists, they have something in common, like I said, greed. For the capitalists to maintain power, he makes sure that the gap between the rich and the poor widens every day. So his superpowers are just to make sure you remain his subordinate. You don't have anything of yourself. You have to depend on him totally for survival. But in the communists, on the other hand, he also or she, regardless of gender, that rules the community or the nation, he or she tries to maintain control over you by making sure that he or she puts up a system that educates you to know that without him or her, you can't survive, you can't exist. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. So in this case now, we make sure that that is not the case. All right, and we have something like we call the stewardship rank within our economic system. Like we have SR1 to SR4, just like any civil service commission that has level 1, level 8, level 5, level something. So now the person who is earning at SR1, all right, for example, 10 omnis per hour, and the person who is earning at SR4, which is the highest cadre where you have the judicial panel that regulates standard price of stuff. Someone who is at level 4 cannot earn more than 4 times what the SR1 person is earning. So exactly. So regardless of your ranking, if you're at SR4, you are earning 40 omni per hour. You can't earn beyond that. Okay. Exactly. So we stabilize all of that.
Okay. So right now we're introducing something called omni, but then I'm curious, why $10?
Okay, so first of all, every economic system has its own currency of value. And in my research in the last 4 months about all of this, I've come to discover that currency is all about psychology.
All right.
Yes, anything that has power is dependent on the value you accord it.
Okay.
All right, so we choose the Omni, and if you look at the Omni logo or symbol of our economic model currency is the omega sign, which speaks of is a metaphor that speaks of an end or that speaks of an end of an era, right, and the beginning of a new thing. And then we have the metal, the rod in between the gaps there that stands for a standard that doesn't flutter, that doesn't shake or waver like the regular fiat system. So we pegged it at $10 because first of all, why the dollar? The dollar is a universal currency that is accepted regardless of nation, whether Africa or Europe or China. Alright? Now you discover that it's easier to calculate reserve or operational cost using a universal currency than using individual specific nation-driven currencies.
On your information, I'm seeing a 50-50 stewardship. That's disciplinary. So why did you actually put that to play?
Alright, so like I said, the capitalist economic system depends on public debt to maintain and retain power, because as long as the poor, the lesser class are in debt, they rely on the elites to survive. But in our system, in order to eradicate poverty totally, anybody who buys an Omni, alright, for example, you buy one Omni for $10. Now 50% of that $10, that is $5, goes into our reserve. Alright, our reserve, which is actually the strength of the economy. So that regardless of the fluctuations we have in a regular fiat world, relative to buying raw materials at the beginning of our economic system and community, that we are not at a loss. We make sure that things are still available for people to purchase within the community.
How do you monitor that?
Well, we have a system called the mutual funds, where we've been able to put that reserve so that money multiplies over time. We buy into government funds, buy into government bonds, treasury bills, and all of that. So it multiplies, it accumulates over time. We use it to go back to the community and invest it there. Then the other 50% of the $10, which is $5, goes into our operational cost. Alright, so that goes for buying raw materials, paying for stuff, whilst the reserve still remains hidden, so that nobody actually spends it.
Alright, so you said character is constant. Wow. So how does your 21 days fudge put that to play?
Okay, in the stewardship economy, character is currency because over the last 4 months, whilst I was doing my research on this, I discovered currency is all about psychology. It's all about psychology. I discovered that what you call money is according to the value you accord it. Alright, whatever value you give to it, that is the value it holds. So over time, instead of placing power in a piece of paper, we rather place power in your character. Because the stewardship economy is so designed that people rise and people thrive within their workspace based on their character and not necessarily on competence.
Okay.
Exactly. So you can have someone who is arrogant, someone who is boastful, someone who is condescending, but yet competent within the regular economic system,
Wow.
right? But then in the stewardship system, we make sure that your character comes before competence. Yes, we know you are competent, but our focus is character, because the whole aim of this is to make sure that the man himself is transformed and ready for Christ, regardless of making sure he's trying to make his ends meet.
Okay, I want to speak on our relation like the CS registration. So what do you have to say concerning your April Alpha cohort launch?
Okay, all right. So the April Alpha cohort is just a way of us saying we are in the genesis phase of our project, and we want to start with printing Omni vouchers so that people can actually buy these vouchers and then trade within the community. So, like I said, the long-term project is to have an application called the Omni Portal. Where people on board, they have a unique membership ID, and then they have a designated wallet where OmniCoins can be minted into and can be transferred from in exchange for value. But in the meantime, we're in the Genesis phase where people can buy Omni vouchers. We're going to print 5 Omni vouchers, 10 Omni vouchers, and 50 Omni vouchers. So you can buy, and in the meantime, right now, you can pay for online courses within the community. There's someone who probably want to learn music and someone is willing to teach you. Instead of paying in dollars, you pay in Omni in the community. All right, and then so you discover that for now we may not have much to go in terms of exchange for value, right? Because we're just picking up, but we just want them to give us time. The first year of this system might cost us a whole lot, setting up a lot of things like kiosk, where people can actually go from city to city. They can buy basic amenities like beverages, services, and all of that. But after a year, 2 years, you discover that we'll be more stable to accumulate other things that people can actually purchase within the community.
There are a lot of people who are coming with one idea or different ideas. Uses to do this, uses to do that. Are you sure these are actually going to stay? And then it's not your own way to also get rich like this?
First of all, I want to debunk the idea of a get rich quick scheme. This is not crypto that is speculative. You can say, okay, you want to put some money in, and then over time you accumulate like the capitalist mindset and get money out. So with that being said, I also want to add to this is that it's a one-way in economy. You can buy into the economy using your fiat, but you can't take fiat back in next. You can't exchange only for fiat. It doesn't work that way. It's one way in and no way out. You are in or out. All right, and then also, like I said, this is going to outlive me. This is going to outlive my generation. It's even going to outlive the 3rd, 4th, 5th generation. It depends on who we hand this over to. Yeah, so.
All right, so finally, my question would be for those who are tired of being victims of economic brouhaha, what's your encouragement to them?
Okay, all right, so to you listening to me out there, I first want to let you know that this is psychological warfare. You must understand that the traditional models of economy that we've discussed, the capitalists and the communists, regardless of the nation you are in and regardless of whichever is playing out in your nation, they don't really care about you. All they care about is just making use of what God has given to you as a gift to help humanity for their own self-interest. So you must come to terms with that reality, that they don't really care much about you. Check your educational standard. Check market monopoly. Who has the shares? Talk about community infrastructure. Who owns most of the things in the community? Can you boast of anything that you can look at and say, this was my invention? How about patent rights? How about creativity? All these are locked up under the communist and capitalist system of economy. So you must come to terms with that first. And then second of all, I also want you to see this as not as a get-rich-quick scheme, as the capitalists will suggest to you, or like a speculative crypto kind of thing. I want to see it as, yes, it might be difficult to accept at first, but if you open your mind to it, as myself, I had to open my heart to what the Lord was showing me, you'll begin to thrive and your gifts will find expression in your community.
Alright, that's what we've learned a lot from the Iron Steward economy. Okay, so but then what's the first step for whoever that wants to get engaged in this? What do you tell them what they're supposed to do?
Alright, now I want to let you know that I'm a servant leader. I'm someone that identifies with people. I'm not somewhere locked away like if we like in the prison. So my contact is there, and then you also have our administrator's number there. You can also send us a mail, and then we'll haven't reached us, who send you a link either via mail or WhatsApp or Telegram. See how you can join our community online, and then have access to information as things unfold.
All right. Thank you so much, Officer Ra. I love that name.
Thank you so much, Lisa.
All right, for everyone who is listening to us out there, I'm sure you will want something new, and then so I'd like to encourage us to also, see what this is all about. And welcome to Iron Steward Economy. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. All right.